live at 5. This is 13 News Now.
Terrifying moments near a school bus stop this morning in Virginia Beach. A young boy was run over by a car in someone's driveway.
Happened just before 9 o'clock off Drew Drive. 13 News Now reporter Jimmy Lee is live in Virginia Beach where it happened.
Hey, Janet and David. So the bus stop is located right at the corner of Drew Drive and Tar Heel Court. I'm told that the kids oftentimes sit along that curb as they're waiting for that bus. But this morning, for some reason, police say that this particular student was actually sitting in that driveway that you see behind me. Someone pulled into that driveway and ran right over him.
I took off running. His mom, she was in her vehicle on her way here.
As soon as she got the news, daycare worker Samantha Jackson rushed over to the bus stop at Drew Drive.
When I approached, he was conscious, he was talking.
A young boy who attends the daycare after school was pinned underneath a car.
When I came up, they was cutting his pants off of him, but he was talking and he was alert.
Just before 9 a.m., police say the boy happened to be sitting in a driveway near the bus stop. Someone pulled into the driveway, didn't see him, and ran right over him.
She hit him, and when she heard the noise, she stopped. They had to jack the car to get the car off of him.
The boy was rushed to the Children's Hospital in Norfolk.
All the kids probably sitting on the curb. All the kids normally sit there waiting on the bus to come.
According to the Student Code of Conduct, students are not allowed to stand in the street or on private property while waiting for the bus.
His mom is really emotional about it, but basically the whole daycare is torn up about it.
Emotions ran high today. Everyone frightened for the boy, but his injuries were only minor, and loved ones are thankful he will be okay.
Knowing him, he's a high-spirited young man, so we're just praying.
Now, we asked police if this driver would be charged or issued a citation. We're told at this point in the investigation, charges are not pending. Live in Virginia Beach, I'm Jimmy Lee, 13 News Now.
Just into the newsroom, Virginia Beach emergency crews are fighting a brush fire on Ships Corner Road. This is a live look from our tower camera, and dispatchers tell us this has started about 25 minutes ago. 13 News Now has a crew headed there, and we are trying to find out how large the fire is, and once we get more information, we will update you.
Developing now, Norfolk police officers are looking for the shooter responsible for taking the life of 39-year-old Aaron Richardson. The shooting happened last night on Kitchener Avenue in the Ballantyne Place neighborhood. Around 1 o'clock this morning, police and neighbors found Richardson lying on the ground. Parents who live in the neighborhood tell 13 News Now this crime and others make them want to pack up their bags and move.
Kids got to see this. Kids got to wake up and wonder, like, wow, what's going on right here? Like, what is this? And they got to start to question, and your parents got to tell them, oh, somebody got killed.
Police are calling this an active homicide investigation. If you think you may have heard or saw something, call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP.
Back to Charlottesville. That's what Jason Kessler is hoping for. He's the organizer of the Unite the Right rally. You might remember that white nationalist event turned deadly in August. Now Kessler says he has applied for a permit at Charlottesville's Lee Park to hold the event again on the same weekend next year. On his website, Kessler wrote, quote, "I fully expect the Charlottesville government to try and reject it, and I'm ready for that fight."
An Amber Alert is still in place for 3-year-old Mariah Woods, missing from Jacksonville, North Carolina. And tonight, a possible lead has fallen through. The FBI says the girl in this surveillance video is not Mariah. This after reports that it might have been the toddler. Mariah was last seen by her mother's boyfriend about midnight on Monday. He says Mariah woke up and he told her to go back to bed. The toddler's grandmother discovered Mariah missing Monday morning. Mariah's biological father says something about the story just doesn't add up.
Somebody just walked right up in there, grabbed a 3-year-old out of bed. She didn't cry, she didn't scream, nobody heard nothing.
Woods has been in a long custody battle with Christie over Mariah. If you know anything that could help investigators, call 911 immediately.
Poquoson police are warning you to lock your car. Police Chief Cliff Bowen says items were stolen out of 13 cars on Sunday. The cars were parked along the Little Florida Road corridor and Odd Road. And as 13 News Now reporter Nico Clemens explains, the cars had something else in common.
It is shocking. crime in an area where most people say is uncommon.
We're not used to that out here. It tends to stick in your mind a little bit at night.
Poquoson police say they're searching for whoever went into 13 cars early Sunday morning along Little Florida Road, taking whatever they could get their hands on.
As soon as we heard about it, we started locking the houses up, locking the cars up, the sheds, looking out for the neighbors that aren't home, and just making sure everybody's all right.
Skip Young lives off Little Florida Road. He's been here 2 years. He loves the small town feel and how everybody knows everybody. He says the news is surprising because they don't hear about break-ins too often.
When we hear about news about this, about break-ins, we just take the extra precautions.
According to police, all 13 cars had something in common. They were all unlocked.
A lot of times we go to sleep, don't even remember to lock the doors, leave our cars unlocked.
Poquoson Police Chief Clifford Bowen says they are following up on several leads, but they've made no arrest. Young says neighbors are now on alert.
Some of the neighbors around here took extra precautions, went and got security systems, put cameras up, just to make sure everybody's safe on the street and around Poquoson.
Doing everything they can to prevent this from happening again. In Poquoson, Nico Clemens, 13 News Now.
All right, live to the highways, thanks to our traffic network. Today, VDOT officials started testing tolling equipment for the new express lanes. That testing is happening along I-64 from 564 to just past 264. Drivers need to pay attention to the overhead message boards. Those signs will let you know if the lanes are open to all traffic or if HOV rules are in effect. The equipment may look like it is activated, but remember, you will not be tolled until the express lanes launch, and that's in a few weeks.
New at 5, another government shutdown could be looming. The deadline is next Friday. Last time, 4 years ago, Hampton roads got hit hard. Mike Gooding tells us it could be just as painful this time if it happens.
Well, yes, that is right, Janet, but it's still a big if. But with our region and our state so reliant upon federal spending and defense dollars, it is a legitimate concern. A partial government shutdown next Friday could potentially disrupt military operations and paychecks. Lawmakers need to okay a budget extension by midnight December 8th, the day a continuing resolution currently funding government operations expires, or risk a shutdown of all but essential operations again. The last time there was a shutdown in 2013, it was bad news for Hampton roads. Military commissaries were closed. 21,000 civil servants were furloughed. The Hampton Roads Planning District Commission estimated it cost the region $6.3 million per day in lost income for each of the 13 days of the shutdown.
This is very important to Virginia because it is such a one of the top states that receives such massive amounts of military spending. Any disruption has a catastrophic effect.
Tidewater Community College business professor Peter Shaw says the damage would be very real this time, just like it was last time.
There is no good news coming out of anything like this if it happens. So I sincerely hope that Congress will get its act together.
I am very, Mike, and always have been, I'm opposed to any shutdown of the federal government. I don't think the greatest government and the greatest country in the world should shut down.
Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, although worried, is hopeful a shutdown might not happen.
And we may have to do a 2-week continuing resolution until this 22nd of December. That would be similar to what's happened in past years. But I think we'll get there and we'll have a deal that will carry forward funding of the government.
Kaine also weighed in on the ongoing debate over tax reform. A vote on that could happen in the Senate as soon as tomorrow. The Democrat repeated that he's against the plan in its current form, which he says, quote, particularly hurts the poor. Reporting live, Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.
A group of Chinese investors is suing Governor Terry McAuliffe. They say he used his political connections to scam them. The lawsuit claims the investors wrongfully lost $120 million when McAuliffe and Hillary Clinton's brother were trying to bring Green Tech Automotive to the U.S. That's an electric car manufacturer. The governor's office says McAuliffe left the company 5 years ago and dismissed the lawsuit as politically motivated.
North Carolina is the best state for business. Virginia is number 5, all according to the annual Forbes list. Low business costs and an educated workforce pushed the Tar Heel State to the top of the list. North Carolina has ranked among the magazine's top 5 for 12 straight years, but this is the first time at number 1. Virginia was number 1 in 2013, but Forbes says higher business costs and a declining economic climate pushed it lower.
A new women's monument is going up at Virginia's Capitol Square in Richmond. It's called Voices from the Garden, and state officials plan to break ground next week. You're looking at a model of the monument. The real thing will recognize contributions women have made to Virginia, and it will feature 12 bronze statues of important women. There will also be a wall of honor naming several hundred other women.
Virginia's history and culture are coming alive through a new online archive. The Virginia Foundation for the Humanities is putting 43 years worth of resources online for people to search for free. It's called the Discovery Virginia Digital Archive, and it includes more than 6,000 publications, interviews, and virtual tours. Find a link to the archive on our website, 13newsnow.com. Just look under Links in the News.